Hey, vinyl community, Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and I wanted to make a contribution to the thread that Randy Nelson has started, showing 5 albums with cars on the jacket and 5 songs, albums with songs about automobiles, cars, vehicles, things like that. So I thought this was a great opportunity to showcase a variety of albums. And so here I go. First of all, what are we listening to? Sister Kate from 1971, Cotillion Records. And yes, if you didn't already know or haven't already guessed, this is James Taylor's sister, Kate Taylor. And I've got picked up 2 of her albums on Discogs recently. A 78 album and the 71 album, which I believe was her first. All the Taylor siblings were very musical, and all but one, I believe, did albums. Sister Kate, Alex, who's older than James, and James was in Alex's bands when they were in their teens, and Livingston. And all had, and there's one other brother that didn't ever get into music professionally. And the James siblings all very talented. This is really a good album, and the other one is as well. I think that what kept her from going on to higher prominence was, number one, she's the sister of someone who's already very big, or at least in '71 James was getting very big, but I mean, I think that's a disadvantage for an artist. And number two, she wasn't really a songwriter. And in the '70s, that was the singer-songwriter era, and it was like they deducted points from you if you were a singer or an artist that didn't write your own material. She does a couple of her brother James's songs. She does a couple of Bernie Taupin, Elton John songs, Carole King song. So she selects some really good material, and she's got a really nice voice. But I think that probably hurt her. Anyway, that's Sister Kate, and I don't remember where she falls. I'm thinking maybe it's like Alex, Livingston, maybe Alex, James, Livingston, Kate, and then a younger brother. But I could be way off on that. Anyway, Sister Kate. Now, to the task at hand. First, albums with vehicles on them, cars on them. Most of mine are like vans and things like that. Here's a Rounder record from John Hammond, actually John Hammond Jr., Mileage. And there he is with probably the van he uses to go to and from his gigs. But a nice album, not a solo, but primarily acoustic on here. John Hammond. Okay, there's one vehicle. Okay, we'll see this artist, this band again when we circle back around to songs about cars. Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen, and this is let's see, Casanova, Country Casanova, and you can see him there. Vehicle. There's the whole band with their tour bus. And what is that? I can't tell what that is. Is that maybe a Buick or a Pontiac? Something like that. Chester's got something I might stop take from. Sorry about that. Chester got some scissors. Can't chew on scissors, so I got a treat for him. Here you go, Chester. Come here. Come here. There you go. Take that. All right, so crisis averted. Now, where was I? We had 2 vehicles, John Hammond's record with his touring van, Commander Cody and the Lost Planet Airmen, which was something I think is a Buick or a Pontiac, but I could be way off on that. Here's one kind of a staged cover. Well, I guess aren't most covers staged? Yeah. Here's a Bill Monroe reissue. Really good album. There you can see. And notice in here the inserted picture is of their tour. They used a limousine converted to tour with. It's got on there Bill Monroe and the Bluegrass Boys WSM Grand Ole Opry. And they would tour in that for a long time. But a bigger vehicle. This is Bill Monroe, Lester Flatt, Earl Scruggs, the original bluegrass band. So these are those recordings between 45 and 48, the classic era. Okay, that's 3, I believe. And Little Feat. Notice the car there. I always love the Little Feat covers. They are always very creative. Feats Don't Fail Me Now is the album. And you can see who's in there? Who's in the car? I know it's George Washington. Is that Marilyn Monroe with him? You know, I don't know if George was a ladies' man or not, but could be. Okay. And on the Larkin Poe album, Self-Made Man, not on the front cover. I love these ladies. These great musicians here. If you haven't checked out Larkin Poe, I highly recommend them. But there they are on the back cover with their touring band. Okay. And finally, another album from, I think that Larkin Poe was from 2020. Self-Made Man's from 2020. This album is from 2020 as well, and it's my understanding it is up for a Grammy. And it's Marcus King, El Dorado. So it's got kind of dark, so it's kind of hard to see, but it's got an El Dorado there. And on the other side, there's a couple of them. So Marcus King, not Marcus King Band. This is what he did without the full band, studio production, called El Dorado. And I remember I followed him on Instagram or something. Well, that's the only one I follow these days, so it must have been Instagram. And when he moved to Nashville, he had made enough money, he bought a vintage El Dorado, and it showed that car off. Okay, and next we have albums with songs about cars, or in my case, I'm going to use trucks, vehicles, whatever. Let's see. I said we would go back to Chester. You're just being a pain in the butt today. Don't take that in your mouth. They weren't so cute. You want to wring their neck. Okay. Commander Cody and his Lost Planet, Airmen, Hot Licks, Cold Steel, and Trucker's Favorites. Great album. I love Commander Cody. And this is just full of songs of the road. You got Truck Stop Rock, Truck Driving Man, let's see, Semi Truck, Looking at the World Through a Windshield, and my favorite truck driving song, Mama Hated Diesels. She hated them so bad. That song will make you cry. I should have used that for Pretty Green Vinyl Guys contest, songs that will make you cry. You listen to Mama Hated Diesels, and it'll put a tear in your eye, buddy. Okay, so lots of driving on the road, cars on that one. Billy Joe Schaefer. When I did his tribute after he passed away, this album was put away. I had cleaned it but hadn't graded it yet. This is one I've had for years. really, really good Billy Joe Shaver album, but I cleaned it up and I wanted to play grade it. But this has got the song Ragged Old Truck, which is just a wonderful song from Billy Joe Shaver. Thinking about cranking that ragged old truck up and headed into town. Okay. And I bet you, if I haven't seen everybody's response, but I bet you somebody's done this one. If they haven't, I bet that's one they were thinking about and hadn't done the video yet. Janis Joplin from the album Pearl, Mercedes Benz. That's a funny little song, only a minute and 45 seconds. But oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? All my friends drive Porsches. I must make amends. And finally, from Robert Johnson, king of the Delta Blues singers, Terraplane Blues. The Terraplane was a car. And, you know, the blues always doing the double entente stuff, you know, two meanings or more meanings from what you're saying, sexually suggestive, little things depending on how you take it. Well, Terraplane Blues is a perfect example of that. You know, I will go into the lyrics. Listen to it sometime and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, there we go. So there's vehicles, cars on covers, on and songs that mention or talk about cars. And there's so many you could do. It didn't take me 10, 15 minutes of going through my collection, and I had to eliminate a few things to find some things I could offer up in this thread. It's a great thread, Randy, and I appreciate you coming up with this idea and starting this. Everybody, remember, be kind to your neighbors, because we're all neighbors.